Hi, I'm making this video now, and this is about my mom dying and her funeral and me not being there and me finally getting a lot of stuff off my chest. So, I first want to say, when someone is falsely labeled as psychosis, rumor, paranoid, delusional, blah blah blah, censors and stuff, but they're not, and they're like really computer savvy. This is not computer stuff. There's a bunch of sensors, Arduino stuff there. But anyways, that's one thing. So since my mother died, I haven't had anything, never heard anything from that side of the family. My mom used to always refer to my dad's side of the family as the family. So my dad today, earlier tonight, dropped off, it's 11:37, dropped off a container with stuff in it. And it's all I got from my mom. So there's so much more my stuff that's there because that's in Marystown. Anyway, so I'm going through everything here, and I'm thinking like all these memories as I'm looking through all the stuff, and I couldn't say anything at her funeral. I wasn't even called. I wasn't asked to even say something over the phone, over speakerphone, nothing. And my brother is, I guess, handling things. He didn't even invite me to his wedding. Don't know his kid's name. We don't talk. And then when he messaged me the day of Mom's wake or something to that container, and he was like, I guess, making, I said to him that, I always, I'm trusting you that you're handling stuff. And, because I don't know how. My best friend's mother died the other day, Gloria Watton. So here I am watching my buddy go through this too. And he's like a mess. So I'm not a mess because I'm not dealing with it yet. But here I'm going through all this stuff. And I was thinking like over the past year or so, I've said a lot of shit in this room and over text messages because I've been sitting at too rough of a vibration. If you listen to tarot card readers and all that kind of stuff, but I'm in an actual hotel room. It's converted into a shelter. Anyways, so I'm looking through all of my stuff, and well, that's my baptism candle. Not a big deal, but it's like broken in half. But anyway, so when I had a dot matrix printer, back when I got my first computer, I made this for her and she kept it. And this is from a dot matrix printer. The ones that go, and what it does, there's a square, like picture of the phone, and it goes in and out a bunch of times, and for every dot is like a mechanical, puts it out and then pushes the ribbon onto this kind of thing. That's how it works. So, Mom, love you, David. And then I was testing out a printer, like a printer program, like before Microsoft Word, and like this is me with hair. Look at my shirt. I remember picking this shirt out. It says, "Hey ref, get the picture," and it's all in super blurry. And there's my watch that has a remote control in it. But like, that was me. And my mom, even though mom and dad were split up, she used to check in on me and stuff. And like, this was back in 1996. If you're listening now, there's something vibing. That's not me. I didn't do that. I didn't turn anything on. So that means that either someone that is not liking me talking about this stuff turned it on, or somehow, thank you, just the neighbor's noise. Anyways, so 1996, and like look at the marks, and David is doing fairly well. He must continue to put effort into his work. It's branding or something. Anyway, so another thing, me and Mom never used to talk that much about personal stuff, but when it comes to like love yous and stuff, like this is the kind of card that I would go out of my way to get. like, it's not just like one page. So it might be a little late for this, but in honor of your birthday, I thought I would have shared some things through the years I thought I would say. It's like, dinner was great. Dinner was great. Thanks for the ride. House was nice and clean. Needed a hug. Everything that, like, you're supposed to say, you know? And, like, I'm on the spectrum. I don't say these things out loud. But I feel them. More than anyone. This was us at Lester Farms. It's mom there. Anyways, that's me. That's my sister. That's my brother. Look at me. That's the first time I ever took a picture of myself. Look. I was like, wow. I thought I was ugly shit. But like, anyways, that's me mowing the lawn. I used to get so angry having to mow the lawn. I'm like, we're going to the cabin. It's supposed to have fun. And I hated it. And I used to hide every time I go up there because the grass was, I used to avoid it at all costs. It's another picture of me. Hold on. The light. It's me with 2 front teeth missing. And this is Abel. Blue Rider. And me and Happy. And this is me and the cat. So it's my mom's candle. And Leandra that. And that's me, Abel and Rodder. Let's see. Abel there. That picture's so nice. And that's me there, Santa. It's me and my brother. That's back when we learned to arm fart each other. And that's me as a stinker. I'm like, wearing a baseball suit or something. Like, so, and that's me on a horse. That's Alan George around the bay in Burn Point. My aunt's cabin. My aunt's, or up the road is my aunt's home, or cabin, out that way. That's me and the cats. That's another me. Anyway, so I never got a chance to say any of this stuff to my mom as she was sick, dying of cancer. Because I've been, like, something terrible happened somehow that needed a process that involved me totally losing touch with reality. And, but it wasn't like, it was under the influence that completely changed me. But after it was over, I wasn't that way anymore. So I'm on the autistic spectrum. Obviously, I have ADHD. If you are, then you're on the spectrum. So when somebody gets labeled with something, as something, and then everybody knows, or thinks they knows, it's not that big of a deal for somebody to I find myself at a loss for words when I need them the most. And until now, if you listen closely to the background of this video, you would have heard Vibe and it would have stopped. That's what I've been dealing with. And times that I'm trying to think of something decent, that's creative, it gets louder. It keeps me awake. I can't lie down and go to sleep with this going. And then sometimes when it turns off, relax for a second, someone upstairs bangs on the floor. And then if I go outside, go out this room or whatever, people are, I shouldn't say people, the way security is here in the building, because it's a homeless shelter technically, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is a hotel room. So it was converted. Let me show you what's on the wall. So this is a picture. Like, so this is a picture that, you turn it this way, looks like a shark with blood in the water. And like, I don't know, like and it's like that. Now, this could just be like, you know, like your health profile or something. And I don't know what this one looks like. It looks like fire or something in the background, or like something, I don't know. And then like, the trees, they kind of look like plastic bags melting or something. And like, I don't know, garbage bags put down or torn or something. Anyways, my point being is that for me to get in touch with my feelings and my emotions, like the deep down, it doesn't take anything at all. But I overshare. I talk too much depending on who can hear me, but I'm also deaf and I got tubes in my ears since I was a kid, and they never ever came out. They should have. Apparently, they're supposed to after 2 years or something, and I had them in since before I was 10. So the tubes themselves, there's the frequency that human beings talk on, the pressure wave. That's what I can't hear. So I can hear everybody when they speak, but I don't hear the words unless I'm looking at you. I can't clarify unless the speech is directed at me. So when someone's looking at me and you talk to me and that wave of sound comes towards me, I can hear it. But other than that, I need to be like someone yell at me or someone say something, blah blah blah. So whether or not you could hear the vibration, I'm gonna take this video and I'm gonna put it on the computer, and I'm just gonna detect the noise background and the boom 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 you heard just then. So this happens a lot when I'm talking in this room. Okay? This is why over the past year I've been saying some shit and I stopped talking and stuff, because the pressure in this room is negative 60 decibels. If I take one of the other phones I got over here and open up a sensor, you can hear the sound pressure change now. It'll show it. And so negative 60 decibels is literally what my audiogram is on the frequency that people speak on. So also, this here, that's a sonic and mouse repellent kind of thing. Sometimes hotels have them built into those kind of things. And this thing here, the light, if you pay attention, when I breathe in and out, see, it breathes with you. So when I'm lying down on my bed, I can only look at that light, and I see it breathing in with me and not. And then I start blink, see that? It's like everything is telling me that, hey, everything's AI or something, or like that it's the noise in the room is okay sufficiently for quiet or something. I don't know. But over here in the bathroom, that vent there takes so much air. Watch this. So when the pressure is at negative 60 decibels and the only intake is right here, which you can see moving just a little tiny bit, it creates a pressure wave, basically like a shock wave kind of thing between doors slamming and all that kind of stuff, which you can hear in the background. And that basically goes with the pressure in my ears. So my tubes, my ears, so my brain, my eardrums sit right at. So when somebody's playing with the HVAC or whatever, going up and down to listen to the breathing for this thing. Like, hang on, I'll just breathe. It basically monitors you. I think it's like some kind of automatic design that lets the person know whether they're having a panic attack or something. But like I wasn't told when I signed my lease here at all, and like it's strange. And if you heard that sound then too. Anyway, so inside the HVAC down here, in the daytime, there's a little hole there that you can see a little bit of light come in. So that means that there's air that can come in. So sometimes it gets really squealy. Which if you listen now, you should start hearing. Or it could be the vacuum out there. But anyway, so like when I'm in this, I'm grateful for having a place. Very grateful. And then when I'm dealing with my own homelessness and when I was, and I'm paying rent now and everything, though, until I'm not. Technically I'm not. But the Wi-Fi here doesn't have a password on it. There's no security for your data. And if everything I'm in my mind, everything I'm thinking is how my body is reacting. Okay, so if I don't need to think to move. I don't need to say, oh, my arm can go this way. But if someone isn't in the room, then the room setting in a smart building would go back down to equilibrium, or turn off features and stuff. But the suction part, that's so strong that it actually has to suck in air from the door, under the door. You can feel the air coming in there just a little tiny bit. So anyways, when that's happening, when the air is at negative 60 decibels, the voice that people speak on, the frequency is 2000 hertz, which is 2 kilohertz. And then this room is basically silenced. So high pitch frequency, high pitch vibration, I can hear it because it rattles the tubes. But when the air pressure is exactly equal and all of a sudden there's a big bam, or say there's noises sent in on lines, like say, or someone yells out in the hallway or something, or it doesn't matter what they say, because it doesn't matter where you are, but because of the tubes and because I can't hear perfectly, but yet I can hear everything in the world, but I can't hear people's speech, only that someone's talking and where it's coming from. So it makes me really self-confident to have to pay attention to everything and somebody in a new place in order to find information out. And then if I'm nervous, then I'm trying to remember things, and if I'm trying to find out where to go in different things and different reasons, that brings more anxiety up. And sometimes I can't even say that word anxiety here without something else happening. So anyway, so I was doing some thinking, and I thought, like, when someone's in an American style health complex, every time I say a sentence that has could go one way or another, you can hear the boom. And it's going to be on the background audio, and I'm really going to show it. So other times you can hear a weird ding, 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 ding. And basically, if the air here in this hotel room is being sucked out, and say if the vent is, sucking more air out, it creates a negative suction here. So then sound or air has to come from somewhere, either outside or in the other vent, right, which is obviously hooked to the other one. So that means that basically it's going up, down, up, down. So when you allow yourself to build up too much unresolved tension and then not talk about things, it can create a pressure, like you're holding your breath almost, and you almost got to argue with yourself whether to fart or talk or just go outside and chill. So since this place was a converted from a hotel, I don't know if the technology for the rooms and stuff have been converted for this kind of thing. Because if it's sucking air out, then that means that it can only be for a couple of reasons. Either that you're trying to get sound out, which is carried across airwaves, obviously, but maybe it has something to do with the CO2 meter or something. So, because if this is a smart building and you need to know where people are moving in the room and if they're okay, which is attaches to the breathing light icon, which keeps me awake, then technically the way they move can be heard by sound bouncing off the walls and then being listened to somewhere else, or it could be in the same device. Now, every time that I say something good like that, if you rewind just a little tiny bit, you should see the lights blink a little bit. That happens to me a lot. So, sometimes my voice is really dry because when I'm talking and I'm nervous kind of thing, and plus I was going to cry, and I kind of did. I had to drink some liquid. But I've gone through so much stuff, and I've never talked about anything, that there's not one person that I need to talk to at one time. And if I guess if I went to Mom's funeral or whatever, I probably would have said too much, but at least everybody would have understood me then. So, back in the 60s, autism was called infantile psychosis. If you had a kid that was born with autism, they're called infantile psychosis. Over in Australia, it's called dementia infantile or something. So all of these personal ways of describing are basically like, I had a friend of mine, Chris Duke, that everyone was going around saying that he had psychosis, okay? And he was at my house with his girlfriend. She left him there. She was going to the store. And then he went, she didn't come back for like over an hour or so. And she said, Chris, I'm only going to be gone for like 15 minutes. Try to get a hold of her and everything. And he went and got lost in the woods in Kilbride. It took him like 2 days to come home. And like, after that, all I heard was random things like always looking through people's garbage cans and all kind of stuff now. So like, psychosis is one thing. But when you're ADHD, you are on the autistic spectrum. So technically, someone that is ADHD or has autism was born with psychosis by somebody that is paid to categorize people into these. Now, psychosis itself, like if I had it, I guess I would be acting strange and stuff, like when I'm met with things. Now, my hearing is not, I don't hear things, but I feel the pressure because there's tubes in my ears and they will click a little bit, like the seating of them will change a little bit. So anyways, from the stuff I got from my mother's house, I got a box of Arduino stuff, and now I can use a breadboard, and I can use a couple of these sensors with silent sensors and stuff, because even though my hearing sucks on human range, like, I can at least now I can measure it with these things. And I'll teach myself a couple of things. What else is it? So another thing too, issue with me with my hearing, this could also be used to listen to people's conversations. Because all it takes technically, if this building has one powered fan that's always blowing out or not, then technically, unless there is a manual control in this building, it should always be at whatever voltage and max. So the only way to turn it on, up and down, if it's not a setting, is to turn a dial, which, you know, turns the voltage for slower or not. Okay? So at 120 volts or 240 volts, the voltage is not going to drop because it's amplified AC current. So if something nearby drains the power really quick, then technically that's a load on your circuit, right, which will bring down the current, and it wouldn't bring down the voltage that much. But technically the fan, if the fan is pushing out exactly at 60 decibels, which is taken out of this room to make it silent, then technically, if the other thing is to measure someone's breathing or not, and then when someone is talking a lot or some, I guess, automatic sign of something, I don't know, is it, this room didn't come with a manual yet, and maybe I'm the one making it in the future, I already made. But anyways, so if someone was having some kind of issue and monitoring, or there was only one person in the room or two or something like that, I don't know. The breathing thing is obvious. But my point is the airflow and the frequency that we all talk on, if sometimes sounds when they're very, very low, they can sound like something else. Like, or someone says a word and say you're having a conversation and it almost butts in. But to me personally, where I'm deaf, I always watch TV with subtitles, movies. So when I'm watching something, I'm reading by speaking the words out. And by doing that, it puts me into the movie or TV show itself. And I've realized that like it's almost like took over my personality kind of thing. Like I get very sentimental and everything when I'm watching it. But it only started happening when I was around one person. But like, I guess I felt open enough and safe enough kind of thing. But anyways, so reading subtitles and then saying the words. If I'm in the room and everything is the way it is, and sometimes, depending on if I'm reading subtitles or say I'm listening to an Eminem song and I'm just reading the words, sometimes something can happen, a boom, bada bum, and I think it's a different word, and I'll say something out loud, and then sometimes mistakes happen, I think. So, in the case of, let's just say, a random example of this happening, and say a bunch of rumors happened because last year, there was like a bunch of stuff that happened and I realized a bunch of stuff, or my mom got sick or something and I didn't remember, so I had a panic attack or something, and something happened to me, and then I go home, no one's talking about what caused the issue in town. So because no one's talking to me, I got a little bit paranoid, but I didn't act on it. Like I was like, why is no one talking about, like, I'm here miserable, it's like I'm a zombie now. And like shortly after that, I became homeless because I got kicked out by the RCMP for uttering threats to my landlord, who was my cousin. So my cousin knew, I guess, my mom was sick and stuff, but yet, and this like quiet thing was happening and stuff there, so I couldn't really talk around family or talk about things over the past years that have happened. Like there was one dude that me and the last person I was living with that literally set fire to his house and lost all our stuff and stuff. But besides the stuff, he sold our stuff before the fire, and I had video of it and everything. I sent it to the cops and stuff. I never heard he's supposed to get charged. Never heard much after. But then I'm thinking, like, everything happens for a reason. I'm always told this stuff, and if I gotta connect all this to my mom, Gloria Wadden. When I was in high school, my mom was in Marystown. Or no, she was in Power Avenue, actually, with my brother, because my mom and dad broke up because they were working at Bingo Hall or something. My mom had to work on her false name, fake name or something, because my dad needed her for accounting and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so shit happened. You know, old news, but my mom was used as a star witness in their case because they were embellishing what she knew and stuff. And anyways, we talked about it before, but she's passed now, so I can't talk about it anymore. My mom told me everything, okay? So in high school, me and my buddy James out here used to go to this woman's house every lunchtime and eat. And I remember once my dad took me out to get a bunch of clothes and stuff, and it was just starting to learn how to walk, like, you know, like a little bit of swag. And like, she told me stop walking so faggy. And she never meant it like in a bad way, like because when she used to speak to me, she used to make eye contact with me, and then I'd make eye contact with her, and every word that she'd say, whatever, I'd just be like kind of thing. And her son James, my best friend, is like that too. So like, I knew that he was well taken care of, and he had like a great relation with his parents and stuff. So like, I knew like he's my good buddy for life. But like, no one knows my mom. And so after that happened with my mom in court and everything, my dad and them splitting up and blah, 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 like I didn't see her at all. And then she ended up going to Marystown. And before that, she took my dad to court over baby bonus because she had receipts or something for 2 kids. And I was living with my dad and over around the bay to the cabin with my nan and pop. And like a lawyer on her side stood up and said that I was lying. Like under oath and all that kind of stuff in court because I was with my dad. And like he lost. And like he was telling the truth. So that's just one thing, okay? So I know that basically you're guilty until proven innocent for no matter what. So then CYFS and stuff, I mean like family court is just another story altogether. But my mom helped me by helping raise my kids, okay? One of my kids is an adult now. Actually, he's not in any of the pictures, actually. But, because... actually, he used to go around the bay a lot with my dad, too. But I'm pretty sure he was in the front seat or next to me on the other side in that picture. But yeah, and plus, these are all the ones that were just sent out. I don't have anything here. Like, I didn't get to choose what was given to me, right? But, like, I guess I was baptized and stuff. And, like, I've never talked to anyone in relationships before about this stuff. I don't know how to do the personal stuff because I get too emotional. And then the first time I did it, I've like talked and opened up about everything. When that ended, so I know that my dad, he loved my mom, okay? And during the whole middle of shit that they were talking and stuff, and like, I knew that when some big people are pressing on littler people, they will break a relationship easy. And it'll be impossible for them to stay together. And the crown can't be held liable and stuff. So, like, I'm thinking from last year that some of the people that I knew may have gotten in trouble. And when I was in town, another buddy's house burned overnight. And I was supposed to go there. Well, I was going to go to his house or something. Mrs.'s sister asked me to go run over. I could have took the scooter over, but I never asked. Like I said to make sure that it was me that was coming because I haven't been in town a couple of years, and like, so when she's like, okay, it's time to go over, goes over, and like, the house all the row houses all burnt down. And like fucking all you can hear is just the smokestack going ding, ding, and the cop was parked down the road, and I was just like, no one's like. Did this happen overnight or something? Like how was I asleep or something? And because when the time between either like there's someone gave bad information or something really fucked up was going on. So that tripped me out. I took that as a sign from God. Okay, I'm talking 33 minutes now. But like, so at that point, I trusted Leanne. I trusted her more than anything. Every word that she's ever said. Okay, but at the house I was at after all that happened, I knew in my mind that something weird was going on. My intuition, my spider sense was tingling. And I just wasn't talking about anything. And no one went back. I didn't actually say, like, hey, how come you didn't, like let me know that was like that fucking buddy's house is on fire. Like, you didn't say, what, he moved overnight or something? And then when I came back, I had the video, and I showed it to, I said I got a video, like, and like, no one made a big deal out of it, and I was just, I guess it was a big deal to me because it reminded me of Scott's the fire and stuff, and him burning these cats and stuff, like because he had to in order to hide the evidence that I lived there and to hide the fact that he stole all our stuff and everything. So like, I wasn't in town for a few years after that happened. Because I was literally at my mom's. My mom asked me to come out and put the pool away before the kids went back to school. I was gone like not even 2 weeks. And he messaged me and he's like, hey, do you want me to pick up your prescription for you? And I'll send it in on the bus. I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would I do that? Sorry for cursing. And then next thing you know, I get a message, oh, don't come back, blah, blah, blah. That all happens. Sorry. I get the message back or whatever, said not to come or something like that. So I goes out to get my buddy lives 2 doors up, had my bike or something, reward my bike. Oh yeah, I messaged him. Scott said everything was stolen or some bullshit, and like I have to reward my bike, and apparently the bike was there. So I went out to town to get it, and I was like, yeah, you got to charge up and everything. I still got the messages somewhere, and like bike wasn't charged up. Everything was taken apart. So when I was in town, there was a wireless camera, a security camera that had a SD card in it. Every time I'm talking about something really good, somebody comes by all the time. And he just waved at me. Anyways, so I guess it's a sign. But then it distracts me what I was talking about. Oh yeah, SD card. And so, yeah, there wasn't a... Was there a SD card? Anyways, all the pictures and stuff are there. I sent them all to the cops. And you can see the timestamp on all of them. So, at some point, Scott's house was broken into. And then the wireless camera that was still up got the snapshot of his back door window, his curtain being broken and going outside. So there was no movement, right? And like everything was fine. The day before, he took off the doorbell camera and everything with a screwdriver and everything, and then the glass and everything is broken out from the inside, and then everything starts leaving and blah blah blah. So that's what people are like here in the city. So even though we lost everything, me and her, like we went through hell, okay? And it was like we reported stuff, we did everything we're supposed to do, but it's like nothing ever worked because we don't. Especially me, I don't constantly complain officially about stuff. I don't like say, oh hey, remember this and this. I just don't have time to do it. And I guess I'm a lot less stressful because of it. But this whole conversation started because I haven't been able to talk about my mom and stuff. And in this room, I say a lot of messed up stuff because sometimes either the bed got like a sex setting and it's turned on depending on what is said up there, or maybe like, I'm panicking and vibrates or something, and I took it the wrong way maybe. Because like, if I'm gonna scream out, oh God, it's gonna be for a good reason. But mouth's really dry. Anyways, my cat hates that sound. And that was in Marystown. And I swear that's coming from that too. Sometimes it is. So anyways, the time that I've been here, which has been a good few months, if this room was monitored remotely, which in my opinion, if it was, it should be done by AI, and let everything be done by AI. AI is not scary or anything, it can be your friend. But if not, then that means that like cops and stuff, or things would have to be referred and off and stuff. And like I've never been able to talk about things to myself, and this was a hotel, so I assumed I had the privacy, but I don't think I did. So, and if the floor is electrocuted, hypothetically, not really, but like let's just say sometimes like I get electrocuted sometimes if I move the wrong way. That's my mom. Right, that's my mom's spirit. Let's just say that. But like, I'm thinking there's more than one person that has gone through this in my life, in their lives. Because my dad told me a story the day before court, but some dude had a heart attack. And I'm thinking, man, what would someone like with a lot to say in a room like this do? So, I don't know whether to recommend or to frown upon people being in rooms like this that are silent and have automatic control leveling of pressure going in and out, 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 without telling the tenant. Because this has been going on for months, and it's been causing a lot of issues with me. So, like, I don't know what to say. But my mom, I love, and I love my dad too. And tonight I made a joke to him that when there was a white SUV driving by, and I think I reached him then that I'm okay. So no matter what, there's always a better way. I love you.